going on? Dreadful Rick, back yet again. And this is going to be, another contest video. So, I've been doing quite a slew of these, as you've noticed. And all you guys are doing these giveaways, and I want to pretty much support you guys and some of my favorite people in the VC. So this one is in support of Tom's channel. So Tom's channel is Cine Arcadia, and he's running a Doom giveaway. So he's giving away a few CDs that he had in hand, and he decided, no particular reason. I think I even asked him at one point, what's the certain milestone? He's like, nah, I just wanted to do the giveaway. So, it didn't occur to me that you could just do that. Just do a giveaway to do a giveaway. Don't have to reach a certain milestone. It's nice if you do. It's nice to get a milestone. But in his case, it's cool. He figured he's got some extra copies, and he figured some people would like them in their collection. So in this particular case, he had on a certain topic for this giveaway, and that's doom metal. So this is one of the main reasons why I'm doing it. Not so much for the CDs in of themselves. I actually have copies of those, some of the ones he's given away, which is, it's not really the completely the reason. But I decided to use this opportunity to show you guys some doom metal. So he wants us to show at least 5 albums. So, or just get creative with how you want to do it. So there's been quite a number of entries, and so cool of a lot of you to participate in this and watching this, because as you guys know, doom metal is one of my favorite genres. So kind of a no-brainer. So as you guys know, Tom was a guest of the 100th episode of Heavy Metallurgy, when they talked about the discography of My Dying Bride. Very crucial band if you're getting into doom, and to know about the stuff that was going on with the original Peaceville bands covering this certain style of doom metal. There's so many, subcategories of this stuff that you could branch it out in so many different ways. Some of us may have our preferences. We may like the epic stuff, the death doom stuff, traditional doom, yada yada. So I was a little taken aback that the My Dying Bride episode didn't get more views like I thought it would. So I'm going to leave a link to that, and definitely check it out if you haven't already. My Dying Bride's a great band, and one of the ones that was very important for me into getting into this genre back in my late teen years. So it was so cool to see them covering this, and the fact that they had Tom on board to talk about this band. So enough blabbering, as usual. So this time around, instead of just showing you 5 albums, I'm going to do something where it's more like a lazy derivative. What does that mean? For fans of. So if you like this certain band, then you should definitely check out this lesser known band who are clearly influenced or kind of are similar to this bigger band. So I may do a bit of a lazy comparison, but I figured if you like this bigger band, you'll like this smaller band. So here's what I pulled. Let's start with some epic doom metal. So you all remember this album. This is Candlemass's 05. Kind of made a big, made a lot of noise because Messiah came back to do vocal duties after quite a bit of a hiatus. And so left pretty much soon after this release. And, Rob Lowe and those other guys kind of took over for the band. Johann's back, all that stuff. So if Messiah is your favorite vocalist, and you've been wanting another Messiah Marcolin era kind of album, I would say check out this band out of Poland, out of Krakow, I believe, called Monasterium. I don't ever hear anybody talk about this band, and these guys, they bring the riffs, man. They remind me very much of Candlemass. I figured this is something that could leapfrog off of something this album. The vocalist even sounds just like Messiah. It does it really well too. So this is their second release. They got 3 albums. They released an album last year, actually. I think it's called Cold Are the Graves. So I still need to grab that one. But I love, love, love this album. Epic Doom is your thing. You love Messiah era Candlemass, especially ones with a little more of the modern like production. I would say, can't go wrong with this. This one here kind of takes bit of the flavor of the Saint Vitus school of doom, even the Obsessed. So if you like those kind of bands, you like the Scott Wino, Rieger kind of material, kind of that dirty, dingy, kind of depressive, really, kind of the downer kind of doom. You might like this band, but I wouldn't say this band's completely downer, and I'll explain in a minute. So here's the Obsessed, and great band. So if this is something that you've been kind of gravitating towards, check out this band called Leather Nun America, and they're based out of California, just like Saint Vitus. So yeah, and they even have flavors of the Maryland side of doom. So this album, appropriately titled Buddha Knievel, which I think it's perfect because there's quite a bit of familiarity with the way, especially in the first half of the album. It's kind of very much Saint Vitus-y, obsessed-ish with the way the influences are shown here, but it tends to get very psychedelic. It kind of moves you. It reminds me of the 70s Prague. So imagine a little bit of, the Obsessed with a little bit of 70s Prague elements thrown in there. So this is where the Buddha kind of comes in with a little bit of the biker element with the Knievel. Kind of genius. So this is the last thing these guys put out back in 2015. They're still showing as active, so I don't know what the story is, but they're definitely due for another album. They've got quite a few releases under their belt, so I don't know why this one has pretty much gone under my radar, but it's good stuff. It's kind of makes an effort to offer quite a bit of variety, with their stuff. So it's not a complete downer. It actually kind of takes you aback. It can get a little relaxing, for something that's supposed to be doomy. I found my times kind of getting a little spaced out, at the same time. Very strange combination, but at least I'm glad that these guys are not complete clones, but definitely good stuff. I would say check it out. So don't confuse this band with Leather Nun, out of Florida. Yeah, this is Leather Nun America. Even though the other Leather Nun are from America, it's confusing. I know. Leather Nun America. So this flavor of doom, for those of you who are familiar with Warning, this one's Watching from a Distance. So I think this is a modern classic. So if you guys know Patrick Walker's projects, he's very, very emotive, downright downer, and can get quite depressing. You hear it a lot, especially with doom and with despair, but this is definitely a different flavor of that stuff. Not many bands sound quite like this, so definitely its own animal. And so, what band can I recommend that's kind of in this vein if you're looking for more of this kind of thing? So this band out of Germany called Crossvault, and this is their debut, Spectres of Revocable Loss. And this dropped in, I believe it was 2014. And just looking at that image, you can kind of see, the isolation and loneliness. It just, yeah, you can kind of feel the emotion just looking at that picture there. Uh, Eyes Like Snow put this out. Definitely worth grabbing if you see it. So they got a couple of releases under their belt, but I believe this one right here sounds most like Warning than some of the newer stuff. The newer stuff, I would say, they kind of have influences of Warning, but it's still there, but not as prominent as this release. I even hear elements of Pallbearer, if you're familiar with that band. So really, really good stuff. So again, one that I don't hear brought up all that much either. But again, if you love your Warning, definitely check out Crossvault. This one I'm gonna kind of take on the school of My Dying Bride, but even bringing up that comparison, it's quite lazy because I think this band is quite more than that. I also hear elements of Paradise Lost, even Woods of Ypres. And this is a relatively new release, just dropped in January. So got this from 20 bucks spin, Tribunal. And this is the Weight of Remembrance. So a lot of you should be familiar with this if you follow 20 bucks spin quite often. But I felt like it didn't make as much noise as I thought it would have for something of this quality, this caliber. I think a lot of people may have been caught up on the lazy descriptions of this band, but definitely worth looking into. There's quite a bit of substance here. That being from Vancouver, kind of caught my attention. So, well, I pulled this one out, like Gods of the Sun, because the color scheme kind of reminds me. It's probably the most similar one to this. But this does have harsh vocals, unlike this My Dying Bride album. Maybe I should have pulled Eternals of Swans. But this is a two-piece. They do use session musicians. So here they are. So it is Soren Morn and Etienne Flynn right here. So if you can see, yeah, they got a cello there. So that kind of introduces that gothic element to their sound. So it's quite atmospheric, quite expansive, and it definitely sets in that gothic-y kind of mood, but also despair. And I feel like this is a very strong debut. I'm already looking very forward to see how they're going to expand from this on their next release. Great album. And I decided to at least bring it up one more time here because it did drop it early in January, and it might get overlooked very easily. So I don't know how this is going to fare. Will it be on end of year lists? I don't know. I think for this to be on an end of year list, I mean, you will really, really, really have to love this particular style of Doom. I tend to really love this, and I love the influences of Paradise Lost, also the linear from their early material. So this band they definitely know what they're doing. So good stuff. Cool, 20 bucks spin to have this on their lineup. So yeah, Tribunal. Reverend Bizarre. So interesting band, no longer active, out of Finland. So this one's the Crush the Insects album. So this band, along with, I would say, probably Cathedral, I think has an influence on Pilgrim, Misery Wizard. Even looking at the artwork, you can see how the painting is very inspired by something like Cathedral, even like the stuff from the old Reverend Bizarre paintings. So something that's kind of in that school. It's a three-piece band. If I haven't already mentioned, from Rhode Island. Very interesting. Coming from such a small state, I don't think I own many albums from Rhode Island in particular. But this one's very, very good Doom. It kind of takes those influences I just mentioned, but I feel like these guys are just a little slower. And the riffs are very huge, they're very expansive and heavy, and there's a lot of weight to it. So I believe this guy right here, which goes by the name The Wizard, so he passed away back in, I want to say probably 2017, something like that. And they put out 2 full albums, and the second one was called Void Worship. And they're still listed as active, but again, they haven't put out anything in quite a long time, so they're definitely on a hiatus. And being that The Wizard was the main person behind this project, I mean, my feeling is they're going to probably, the 2 other members will probably form another project. I may even go by another name, but I would love them to resurface this material in some way, shape, or form. But it's tragic. I think I think The Wizard has had heart failure, which is pretty much what kind of caused the band to take this hiatus. But yeah, really, really good stuff. Definitely check them out. Pilgrim. This should be pretty easy to find. Again, this is one that not everybody talks about. This one was put out by Svart. Interesting, coming from a Finnish label, inspiring, being inspired by a Finnish band. Interesting. All right, last one for this video. So I decided to try the occult stoner route for this one. So there's different flavors of Doom. So I decided to go with something more in the like kind of electric wizard route. So when you think of bands like this, a big one that comes to mind from the U.S. would be band out of Virginia, Windhand. So this is their last release, I guess you could say. And so this is a band out of Italy. So you guys know Windhand, female fronted. So this is another female fronted band. That kind of sounds like Windhand. So if you love Windhand, you're gonna love Haunted. If you're not already familiar, looks like this girl's getting tortured or something. It's hard to make out what's going on the cover. It's very dark. This was put up by Twin Earth Records, right here. Yeah, so they got 2 albums under their belt. So this is their debut. Look at that, very Electric Wizard inspired. So yeah, the one to follow up this one was Dayburner. That was a bit of a pain in the ass to find. So I hope they reissue that soon, and not have to pay an arm and a leg for it. But this one should be easier to find. Really, really good stuff. Again, if you love Windhand, you're going to love this. It's got the same big, thick, fuzzy riffs, that orange amp kind of sound, that you love. So yeah, so out of Italy, definitely enjoyed it. Well, I hope some of these picks you found intriguing. Tom, I hope I fulfilled your requirements for this contest, and I did mention very early on I was going to be participating in this. So finally got around to it. Definitely check out his channel and check out the My Dying Bride deep dive they did over heavy metallurgy. And so again, definitely needs more views. So thanks for tuning in. And if you're looking to just get started with Doom and a little directionless, check out the entries for this giveaway. Some of the picks I've shown here. Doom is an interesting genre. I think it was in the metal community. Those who are not really into it, I think it's it's a little misunderstood. I think there's a certain kind of audience for it, definitely, or some people just made like only a particular part of Doom and not all elements of it. I love all elements of it. But again, not everybody's the same. Everybody has their taste. That's all good. But if you don't like Doom, you must be a sad person, full of despair. You know what I mean? You're not jolly like us Doom lovers, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's logical, right? Anyway, I'll catch you on the next one, and keep it dreadful.